Am I the asshole for hanging up on my GF after she got sad by the guy she cheated on me with? I don't even know how to start this without sounding like the bad guy, but here goes. Me and my girlfriend had been together for almost a year. Things were pretty solid, or at least I thought they were. We'd hang out almost every day, late-night calls, dumb little voice notes, future plans, all of it. I was convinced she was the one. But over the last couple of months, something started to feel off. She started being vague about where she was going, taking hours to reply, giving me super generic "I'm with friends" texts. I don't want to sound like that psycho boyfriend who tracks every move, but when you've been with someone long enough, you just know when their vibe changes. I tried to talk to her about it once, just casually, like, "Hey, everything good lately? You seem kinda distant." She brushed it off with the usual "nah, I'm just stressed" excuse. I didn't push too hard. Maybe I should have. But I kept noticing weird shit. She dodged video calls at night saying she was out, never shared pics anymore, and kept changing our weekend plans last minute. I started getting suspicious, but I didn't want to accuse her without proof. I've been cheated on before, and I promised myself I wouldn't become paranoid like that again. Then came last week. She posted an Instagram story with this caption, "Girls' night, nail polish sparkles, you know the type." But something about it seemed staged. Like, the lighting was weird, her friends weren't tagged, and I swear I heard a guy's voice in the background. So I did the thing I told myself I'd never do. I asked one of her friends, casually, if they were all out that night. She hesitated and then said, "Oh, I thought she told you she was going to see a movie with her cousin." Boom. That was the first time it felt real. I didn't say anything though. I just watched. I started noticing a pattern. Every time she claimed to be out with her girls, her locations didn't add up or she'd randomly go offline for hours. It wasn't rocket science. Then 2 nights ago, it all imploded. It was around 11:30 p.m. when she called me. I remember that because I had just gotten into bed after zoning out on YouTube for an hour, trying not to think about everything that had been gnawing at me. My phone buzzed. It was her. She rarely called this late, especially lately. I answered immediately. She was crying. Like hysterically crying. I shot up from bed, instantly on alert. "What's going on? Where are you? Are you okay?" Her voice was shaking. "I'm in the woods," she said. He hurt me. I didn't know what else to do. I needed to call you." That sentence froze my entire body. "Wait. Who hurt you? What woods? What are you talking about?" She was sobbing, almost incoherent, but I caught fragments. I thought I could trust him. We were just supposed to hang out. I didn't think he'd. And then something clicked. "Who is he?" Silence. That was the longest pause of my life. Finally, she whispered his name. A name I didn't recognize. I asked again, "Who is that?" And then she started unraveling the truth like a loose thread in a sweater, one I wasn't ready to pull. She had been seeing this guy behind my back for over a month. Sometimes when she told me she was with her friends, she was actually meeting up with him. She said she didn't plan for it to be serious and that it was mostly just talking at first. My mouth went dry. Then she said she went to meet him that night, alone, and things escalated. She claimed she wanted to talk things through with him but that he forced himself on her. She said she had flirted with him and maybe even kissed him, but she didn't want it to go as far as it did. And that now she didn't know what to do. And I just sat there, completely frozen. Not just because someone she knew did something horrific, but because she chose to be there. With him. Lied to me about it. Hid it for weeks. And now was calling me after it all went horribly wrong. I didn't know what to say. The person I loved. The person I trusted had not only betrayed me but now pulled me into this horrific mess, and I didn't know where the line was between empathy and absolute emotional wreckage. She kept crying, kept talking, but my brain just shut off. I whispered, "I can't do this right now," and I hung up. I stared at my phone for a full minute. And then it started blowing up. The moment I hung up, I felt sick. Not angry. Not sad. Just numb. It was like I'd suddenly been pulled out of my body and was just hovering above everything, watching my entire relationship crumble into ashes. But my phone didn't give me the luxury of peace. Within 10 minutes, I had 3 missed calls, a dozen messages, and then boom, I was added to a group chat with 5 of her friends. Let me just say, if you've ever wondered how quickly people will turn on you when emotions are high and context is low, it's fast. Like, Olympic level fast. The first message I saw was, "WTF is wrong with you? She just got assaulted and you hung up." Then another. "She called you because she trusted you. And you bailed." And another. "You're actually disgusting. I hope she never talks to you again." I didn't even know how they knew. Did she call them right after me? Did she just say he hung up on me without explaining the whole cheating part? I tried typing something. I stared at the message box for 5 full minutes, trying to come up with something that would explain everything. But nothing felt right. Everything I wanted to say sounded either defensive or too cold. So I left the chat. She texted me solo after that. Just one line. "You're a dick." And maybe I am. Maybe hanging up on someone in that state is cruel. But here's what they don't know, here's what she's probably not telling them. She was with that guy by choice. She lied to me for weeks. She went to his place or met him somewhere secluded again while still dating me, and when it turned into something traumatic, I became her emotional support crutch. I wanted to be there for her. I really did. But all my brain could think was, why him? Why lie? Why now? She initiated the meetup, admitted to seeing him behind my back, and I was supposed to instantly become her safe space? How was I supposed to hold someone through pain caused by the person they cheated on me with? That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling fan while my brain spiraled into a war zone. Half of me felt like the worst person alive. The other half felt like I was being emotionally blackmailed into carrying guilt that didn't fully belong to me. I kept going back to the call, her voice shaking, crying in the woods. The way she sounded broken. The way she reached out for me, the one person she thought would still be there. But then again, the only reason she was even in that situation was because she betrayed me. She lied to me for weeks. She chose him over and over. She flirted, met up with him, went behind my back again, and then when it went wrong, suddenly I'm the safe space? What was I supposed to do? Pretend none of that happened? Rush to her side and hold her while trying not to scream over the fact that her trauma came from someone she was cheating with? People love to act like emotions are black and white. That there's a right thing and a wrong thing. But I was living in the grayest space I've ever known. I didn't hate her. I still loved her. But I also felt disgusted. Betrayed. Used. And then came the worst thought of all. What if she wasn't telling the full truth? I hate that I even thought it. But it came. It snuck in like a roach in the dark. She initiated the meetup. She had a history of hiding things. What if this was just a moment of regret turned into a narrative? What if something consensual spiraled and she couldn't admit it to herself or anyone else? And that's the part that destroyed me. Because whether she was telling the truth or not, something awful clearly happened that night. And I wasn't there. I didn't ask if she needed help. I didn't even offer to call someone. I just hung up and walked away like I was canceling a bad phone plan. I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't know how to care for someone who hurt me so deeply. I didn't know if I was supposed to be there or walk away. I didn't know if I was a monster for choosing my own emotional survival over her trauma. She hasn't texted me since that night. Neither have her friends. I'm stuck in the silence now, this weird limbo where I'm both the victim and the villain in someone else's story. 3 days of silence. 3 days of no calls, no texts, no group chat drama. No updates from anyone. It was almost eerie, how fast everything went quiet. I tried distracting myself. Scrolling Reddit, cleaning my apartment, doing literally anything except thinking about her. But every time I stopped moving, her voice from that night crept back into my brain like a parasite. And then, just when I thought maybe it was over, she texted me. Can we talk? Please. Just 4 words, but they hit like a truck. I stared at my screen for a good 10 minutes. I even opened her profile and just looked at her photo. And it was like looking at a stranger wearing the face of someone I once loved. I didn't know what she wanted. Closure? Forgiveness? Comfort? Was she going to ask me to be there for her? Or just unload more guilt onto my chest? I responded eventually. What do you want to talk about?
You do realize
She
we're
replied,
already divorced,
everything.
right?
I owe you the truth.
His face
I
dropped.
just need you to listen.
Apparently,
So I
Nina
agreed.
never told him I'd finalized
Against my
the
better
divorce.
judgment. I said okay.
Guess she
We met
thought
at a small
keeping that
cafe
part
during
quiet
off
would help
hours
her little
somewhere
fantasy
neutral.
play out
She looked
longer.
pale, tired, like she hadn't
But
slept
yeah,
in days.
papers were
And when
signed,
she saw me, her eyes
sealed,
filled with
and
tears
done a
instantly.
whole month
The
before her
moment she
big
sat down, she
announcement.
said, I'm sorry for
She
everything.
really thought she
I know I
ate
can't
with
take
that
it
one.
back, but I need you to understand
Marcus
what happened.
asked me if I was
And for
going
the
to
next
tell
half
people.
hour, she told me everything.
I told
She
him I
didn't
didn't have
sugarcoat it.
to.
She
She
admitted
already
she'd been
told
talking
everyone,
to the guy
and
because
she
he
just
gave her
made herself
attention when
look
things got
stupid.
boring between us.
He
Her
asked
words.
if I could at
That
least
she
not
didn't
make
think it would
worse.
escalate into cheating, but it did.
I said,
She said it was
"Bro,
emotional
you
first,
cheated on
then
your
physical.
wife with her sister."
She went to meet him that night to end it.
It doesn't get
She
much
swore
worse.
that was the truth. Said she
Then
felt
he
guilty
asked
and
about
wanted
the
to cut it
PI.
off. And that's when it happened.
Said
She
something
said he
like,
got
"You were
aggressive,
spying on
ignored her
me?"
protests, and forced
I
himself on her.
said, "I wasn't
She filed a
spying."
report the next day.
I
She
was
showed me the
verifying.
confirmation number.
And
Said
yeah,
she was
I
scared to
showed
tell
him
her
the
friends the
pics.
full truth. So they
Him
just
and
knew
Nina
he hurt her.
poolside in Cabo,
And they turned on me
holding
when she
hands
said I
like
hung
they're in a
up.
damn
I sat
rom-com.
there, listening,
He
completely
didn't
frozen.
even try to deny
And
it.
the worst part? I believed
That was
her,
pretty much it.
but believing her didn't make
He
the
left
betrayal
looking
hurt
even
any
more
less.
miserable than when he
Believing her
arrived.
didn't erase the nights she lied.
As for Nina,
The moment
she's
she
still
looked me in the
acting
eye
like she
and told
won
me nothing
something.
was going on while planning
She
to meet
hasn't
someone
posted
else.
again,
She asked
but
me
she's been
finally,
liking comments
"Do you
under
hate
her
me?"
post and
I didn't
replying to
answer
people
right
with stuff
away,
like,
because
"We've
I
been in
didn't
love
hate
for
her.
years,"
I just didn't
and
know how
the
to love
truth
her
always
anymore.
comes out.
She was still staring at me,
Girl,
waiting for an answer. Do
please.
you hate me? It felt like the kind of
Anyway,
question that
I'm not
needed a
done
yes
yet.
or no, but everything in me
There's more
screamed
to
that it
this,
wasn't that simple.
including how I
looked at
found
her,
out
the
and
same
what I
girl
did
I once
before the
imagined
divorce
proposing
even
to,
started.
and I couldn't see the same person anymore.
Alright,
I
so
saw
here's
pain.
where things
I
really
saw
started
regret.
falling
I
apart.
saw someone who had
About
clearly
6
gone
months
through
ago.
something horrible. But I
That's
also
when my
saw
gut
every
started
lie,
screaming
every
at me that
excuse.
something was
Every
off.
time I had to swallow my gut
Marcus
feeling
had
because I
started
loved her too
doing
much
this
to see
thing
the
where he was
truth.
always
So I
too
said the only
tired
thing that
or
felt real.
too stressed
No,
to hang
I
out.
don't hate you,
But
but I
suddenly
don't
had
trust
all
you
this
either.
energy for
Her face
weekend
cracked.
work trips
That hit her
with
harder
no
than I
actual
expected.
work I could confirm.
She nodded slowly. I get
And
it,
yeah,
she said.
I get it.
I don't even trust
People
myself
travel
anymore.
for work.
We sat
But
in
this
silence
man would
after
leave
that.
on a
Just
Thursday
two
night
people
and
who
come
used
back
to love
Monday
each other
morning
sitting
looking like
across a
he'd just gotten a
scratch-wooden table,
massage and a
realizing
tan.
it was never going to go back to what it was.
Suspicious, right?
She said she wasn't asking for a
He also
relationship
got
again.
real
She just
protective
needed
over his
closure.
phone.
Needed to know she
Like,
wasn't a
flip
monster.
it over when it
Needed to hear
buzzes
that I
levels
didn't wish the
shady.
worst on her. And
I
truthfully,
asked
I
him
didn't.
about it once
I
and
didn't
he
want
made
her
a
to
big
suffer.
deal about
What happened to her
needing
was awful
privacy.
and I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
That's when I
I
knew
genuinely
something was
hoped she'd
definitely
find
up.
peace and I told her that.
At
But I also
first,
told her
I
that I
thought
couldn't be
maybe
there
he
for
was
her.
cheating.
Not
But
anymore.
Nina,
That it would destroy me
she
trying to
didn't
carry
even
both
cross
my
my
own
mind.
heartbreak and her trauma at the same
I
time.
genuinely
She
thought
cried
she
again.
hated me at this
We
point.
didn't hug. We didn't drag
I
it out.
hadn't heard from
We
her
just
in
said goodbye
years.
softly like two people who
Then
already
one
said
night,
too much.
Marcus
I
came
walked out of
home
the
and
cafe and
mentioned
didn't look
something
back.
that weirded me
And now
out.
I'm here, still wondering if I
He
did the right
said,
thing.
"Your
Still
sister's
stuck
been
between
through a
guilt
lot
and
lately.
survival. I know Reddit's
You
full of
should
black
try
and white
reaching
opinions,
out."
but for what it's worth, I
I
wasn't trying
just
to be
blinked at
heartless.
him.
I just didn't know how
I
to be a
hadn't
boyfriend
mentioned her
and a
in
support
forever.
system when the pain was coming
So
from the
why
same
was he
person I
bringing
was
her up?
supposed to be comforting.
That
So
was my
yay.
light bulb moment.
Maybe I was the asshole for
I
hanging
didn't
up at
even
night.
confront him
But
right
in that
away.
moment, my heart shut down. I
Instead,
froze.
I started
I couldn't
keeping
listen to
notes.
the girl who cheated on me tell me how the guy
Dates.
she replaced me with hurt her.
Weird
Maybe that
comments.
makes me cold. Maybe it
Little
makes me human.
things.
I still don't know.
I went